Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be telling you the 10 things I wish I knew before starting high school. This is my third year in high school, so I haven't finished high school yet, but this is the type of advice I would have given myself, so it would have made this year especially much more easier. Without further ado, let's get started. First advice I would have told myself, which is super obvious, is that you are going to make so many new friends, but also you're going to lose some friends. So the transition from middle school to high school is obviously really different because everyone starts to change and develop their own personal likes and dislikes and values. So this means that the friends that you used to be friends with might not be similar to you right now. So this is completely fine. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut them off or stop talking to them. As you're going through high school, outgrowing people is really constant because you're constantly figuring things out about yourself and about others, and you might figure out that maybe that person that you used to be friends with isn't someone who you resonate with today. I have recently cut off some friends because we just didn't really see things the same way, and also some of my old friends have moved away. They have their own plans for the future. I totally respect that of them. I think that it was just really difficult for me because I've been having similar friends throughout my grade school and intermediate life. So I feel like this advice would have really helped me and maybe helped other people, because you don't realize that stop being friends with someone is actually a really big thing in life, and people didn't really tell me this, so I had to kind of figure out that one by myself. But I think it's really nice to move forward into the future with new friends and new experiences. So tying into this, also starting high school, it's super important to make more friends and put yourself out there even if you don't want to. So this means to go to events even if you don't feel like it, because you don't know the value that people can bring into your life. Another note about friends is choosing your friends wisely, because the people that you are friends with eventually will become who you are, or they will become just like you. Especially because how people influence each other, it's super important to be friends with people that have values that align with your own, and as well as having people that respect your boundaries and respecting who you are, and you know that you can turn to them when you're in trouble. High school, you challenge yourself and learn new things, so having friends that can support you is super important. The second advice I would have given myself is something about crushes and boys, or just like relationships in general. Being a teenager in high school, it can be super fun to have a boyfriend or just a relationship, but I have to remind myself, don't let a relationship take or add to your values. So this means if you're heartbroken, don't let that person take away from who you are, and don't let them make you feel any less of a person or ruin who you are. Also, don't make having a boyfriend seems like you're gonna be way more valuable and you're gonna have a better life because you have a boyfriend. Don't date because you want to date. And some people, it might be fun to date, but in high school, I think it's super important to learn more about yourself, because you're growing. You're not going to really have time to have a boyfriend, and if you do, make sure it's important and it's someone that you actually want to be with and someone who supports you even if you don't end up together in the future. If you're heartbroken or you've been rejected, let that thing heal you and make sure you can learn from it for your future, but don't let it fully affect who you are, because you're young and there's things that you don't necessarily understand, so don't really beat yourself up for it if your relationship didn't go the way that you wanted. I would have found it much more useful if I didn't really focus on boys or crushes, especially throughout the beginning of high school, because that's when I was really trying to deal with the change of the new environment and new friends and everything. The third thing that I would have told myself is just stop caring what people think of you, especially if it's something so low-key and something that actually means a lot to you. What I've heard a lot of YouTubers say is that people care a lot about themselves, and you might not realize it, but if you're thinking that someone's thinking about you, they're most likely not. And also, if someone does say something negative about you, or they're reflecting that kind of thoughts onto you, you just have to remind yourself that you cannot control how they think, no matter how much you want to please them. People in high school that gossip and make rumors, most likely they don't even like themselves, so they have to find something to talk about. I like to tell myself this a lot of times. The thing is, once you finish high school, you're not going to see like 90% of these people, so if you're faced with an opportunity, take the opportunity. It doesn't really matter what people think, because in at the most about 4 or 5 years, you're not going to be interacting with these people anymore, and you're going to be getting where you want. So just remind yourself that it's not really important to care what other people think, and just do the things that you like. Number 4 kind of sums up well with number 3, is that you have to try everything. So I'm in my third year of high school, like I said, and I haven't really tried many things, so I'm still trying to get myself to do more. I want to try more extracurriculars and join more clubs. I haven't done that yet, so that's definitely a goal of mine. Especially in high school, if you're given an opportunity, I think it's important that you try or at least do your best. I don't know, maybe if you tried for a leadership or you performed for a show, you might end up getting an even bigger opportunity which could help you in the future. When you're young, it's super easy to be flexible with your interests and your subjects, so make sure to try everything and to attempt the things that you want to do so you can figure out what is more important to you, especially in the future. Trying new things and accomplishing new things actually helps you build your confidence, especially when you're younger. The more things you try, the more confident you're going to become. The fifth point is studying is a super important skill that you have to learn, and it's super important especially throughout high school because it helps you for university or tertiary studies. I already have a video on this, so check that out next if you need help with studying. It's super important throughout high school to find out the things that work for you and to build good study habits. I don't want to say this, but studying is not necessarily a form if you're dumb or smart, because I was not really that smart, especially in the beginning of high school, but as I progressed, I started to figure out what studying methods work best for me, so now I can see that through the benefits of my grades. But also remind yourself that your grades and academic validation does not define who you are. So if you do end up having bad grades quite frequently, don't let this define yourself. Don't let it ruin your mental health. Don't let it ruin anything. Just take it as a challenge to do better next time. Number 6 is experiment with fashion, style, and makeup. So obviously my room is kind of a mess right now, but you can kind of have a general idea of what type of style I'm into. This doesn't necessarily mean following trends, although I do like some of the recent trends, but just make sure you try new things. When going through puberty, I read this in a book quite a while ago, but when everything is changing, it's nice to have something that you can take back and take control of. So what I like to take back control of is through my fashion, my makeup, and my self-expression, especially just making myself feel a bit better. Over the course of the years, my style has definitely changed, so prepare yourself, and it's definitely okay to have a change in style and a change in preference. Don't let it defeat you from dressing how you want to. It's super important that self-expression is not for the validation of others, so others think that you're cool because you're wearing the new clothes or like the expensive stuff. Fashion and makeup and self-expression is all a part of who you are and your self-confidence. Once again, I found that the more that I started dressing how I want, not to please other people, I started feeling a bit better myself every time I dress up. And also, I find it so fun to experiment with styles. It's literally the best. If you're in high school and you're having trouble with finances, I find thrifting really fun because it's way cheaper and it's way easier to access really cool clothes for a really cheap price, as well as donating to charity and reusing clothes. Which brings me to my 7th point, which is don't get a job just to get money. Especially in high school, it can be easy to obsess over money because you want to buy the new things and the things that you see trending on social media, except don't get a job because you just want the money. Of course, money is a benefit that comes out of a job, but get a job to build experiences and build your knowledge and skills. Also, the money that you have is not worth risking your school life, your grades, your mental health, and your physical health. You don't need a job unless you're trying to support your family. If you're getting a job, make sure you're getting it for the right reasons. Of course, money is a benefit that comes out of it, but you have to make sure that you're getting it because you want more experiences and more knowledge. Getting a job can help you form connections, which is really good as well. I know this topic might be a little bit debatable, but I used to have a job and I kind of just got it at first for the experiences and for the money, but my mental health and my physical health started going down. So I loved the job, I loved the place, I loved the owners so much, but I knew that in order to be more successful and to focus on my own mental health, I had to quit the job and not rely on the money as much. So now I don't have as much money, but I think I'm much more happier. If you're finding that you have a job right now and you're kind of struggling with your mental health or some other aspect in your life, it might be a sign to quit your job and focus on things that are more important. Advice number 8 is if you have a serious problem, reach out. Don't keep it to yourself because the problem will only pile up and get worse over time. Don't compress your problems, don't put it in a jar and leave it to forget about. It will get worse and it will burden you. Don't be afraid to talk to someone that you really trust, maybe a friend, a family member, or a teacher at school, or maybe a counselor, but sometimes some people don't trust counselors, so just go to a person that you really trust. Be as open and vulnerable to the people that you know won't judge you. When you're going through high school, you might feel like no one else understands what you're going through and no one can understand how you feel, but most people have been where you are, or if they haven't, then they can find some way to help you work through your problem. It's okay, and even if the person that you tell doesn't really understand, it will make you feel less alone, which can be really comforting sometimes. If you seriously have no one to turn to, don't leave your problems unattended. Write them down, burn it up, or throw it under a box under your bed. That's what I do sometimes. But your problems are meant to be said or written or just expressed, because if you imagine how many problems you can pile up over the years, the day when your problem catches up to you or your problems catch up to you, it's going to be really tough and really difficult for you to handle that. Advice number 9 is peer pressure. And I know you see this all over the talks that the teacher might give you on videos and stuff, but peer pressure is actually a really big aspect in high school. So don't go along with people or things that you think is cool, which isn't really cool. The type of social hierarchy in high school is really hard to ignore. So obviously you have the people that are super popular and the people that aren't popular, and maybe you're somewhere in the middle and you want to get to the top. There is no need for you to get to the top, let me tell you that. It is all for the image, it's all for the parties, it's all for the alcohol and drugs. Just don't do it. It's because it's definitely not worth doing those things. In high school, yes, it might be fun to do those things at the time, but it's not necessarily beneficial for you, especially if you see yourself becoming more successful in the future. Don't do things because other people force you to. Only do it if it aligns with what you believe and what you think is good. I feel like this isn't spoken about enough. There is positive peer pressure, which may be your friends trying to help you to join a new club or something, but definitely when peer pressure comes up, I'm talking about the things that aren't good. If you are doing those types of things, I'm not judging you because I know how hard it is to be stuck in that system, but just make sure you're aware of the friends that you're with and make sure you're aware of the choices and decisions that you're making. There is so many consequences for the things from peer pressure and the things that you choose to do, so make sure to take control back of your life and remind yourself that it's your life and everything that you do is from the choices that you make. You don't have to be cool to survive through high school. No one's perfect, so if you do make mistakes and fall into the wrong line or fall into the wrong groups of people, make sure to pick yourself up and get yourself as far away from that situation. In short, just don't do dumb things. It's pretty obvious of the horrible consequences and the negative effects that it can have on your life and maybe in your future as well. The last one might be a little bit debatable, but privacy. Don't tell people everything you have going on in your life. You can make hundreds and hundreds of friends in high school, but you don't have to tell every single one about what's going on in your life. Most people don't care, and also protect who you are and protect your goals and values. It's completely fine to have mutuals that you just talk about from day to day about school and your life a little bit, but don't tell them the deep things that they can use against you. Personal things, especially like your goals and where you're headed, you can be really vague, but most of the time people don't like other people being successful. So if you have a goal or something, make sure just to keep it to yourself or to tell people that you're close with. Some people might not agree with this, but I think it's really important to have your own privacy and the things that are important to you to be kept in by yourself and to not tell other people about it. I just find the less I tell people where I'm headed, the more better that I am able to get there, because I don't have this pressure of other people asking, oh, did you do this yet? Oh, did you finish your YouTube goal? Did you reach 1,000 followers or something? No one's gonna be asking me that because I didn't tell them that I'm trying to achieve this. This might be difficult if you're a really social person, but for many of you, it's just important to remind yourself what should be told and what should not be told. That's pretty much all my advice for today. The last thing that I want to leave you on is that it's going to be okay, no matter what choices that you make, no matter what decisions that you make or take, or what happens to you, it's going to be okay. You are exactly where you need to be, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. If you're struggling with anything, make sure to comment and I'll try to reply to almost everyone's comments. I just love giving advice and giving my viewpoint on things. If this advice helped you, make sure to show your support through subscribe or like, and any future video suggestions would be much appreciated. Bye! See you in the next video.